Yeah, we're live. Hey, everybody. Just checking the time there. Yeah, we're live. 15, 16 seconds in. How's it going, man? I'm fucking pissed. Hey, Luke. I'm beyond fucking pissed off, man. You know, it's like... Hey, Brian. I've got you live. Yep, you got me live. You caught me when I'm live. So I am enraged because I trusted people, you know? I trusted people to do the right thing, and they didn't. Yeah, they fucked my fucking Jeep up, man, you know? They let some fucking guy get in my vehicle and drive it, and when he got in it, he fucking jammed the goddamn shifter without pushing the button, and since, you know, it locks, so he just wrenched it and broke it. So my shifter just goes like this now. So I'm driving down the road, and if I, like, my dog's in the truck, or he tries to come over and he bumps it, he could literally just throw it into reverse while I'm going down the road at fucking 60 miles an hour. Hey, Richard Schreffler from Cortland, New York. Luke, Jeffrey, Barkley, hello. Enoch, hello, buddy. Kat, hello. Okay, I'm going to refresh the chat. We'll see how many of you are here. I'm so glad you guys are here. You know, it's like... I don't know what got me more mad. The fact that they did it, or the fact that they didn't fucking call me immediately and tell me that they did it, or the fact that when I got there, I discovered it for myself and they acted like they didn't know about it. Oh, you didn't know? You fucking broke my shifter and it just goes like this now? And you don't have to press the button anymore and the button doesn't work? You didn't know that? And you wouldn't fucking tell me? I don't know why the chat's not loading. Nay, I'm a mechanic. Give me a little more details. I may be able to help you fix it. Jeffrey. Okay. I drive a 2019 Mahindra Roxor. It's an automatic. It's got a floor shifter. Park, reverse, neutral, drive, L2, L1, right? Okay. It's got a button activator on it. You press the button and you put it in whatever gear you want. I took it to a shop. Some fucking idiot got in my vehicle, and since the shifter didn't work, instead of pressing the fucking button, he just wrenched the fucking thing and broke the goddamn shifter. So now the shifter just goes rah, 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 free. And if I'm driving down the road, I can't fucking downshift when I'm going up hills and shit. It doesn't work anymore. What do you think? You think you can help me? Think you can help me not be so fucking pissed off about it? You know, because I wouldn't be so angry about it, but I've been on the internet for fucking over an hour trying to find a replacement shifter just to try to make their life a little easier, and I couldn't find the fucking part, man, on the internet, and that shit drove me fucking crazy, man. I couldn't find the fucking part, man. You know, I was everywhere. I went to the Mahindra website. Mahindra doesn't even sell Roxor parts. So I went to the official Roxor site, and they don't have the automatic. The automatic, it doesn't show up as an option. They only have the fucking, the manual transmission. It's just so fucking frustrated, man. Thank you, Enoch. Thank you, buddy. So, you know, did I beat his ass? No, this motherfucker's probably got monkey wrenches for hands, dude. These guys are fucking mechanics. They pull tires all day. I'm not going to beat any of their asses. That's funny, though, Scott. That's funny. Now, I can't help you be pissed, but I can walk you through fix it. What? Okay, how do I fix it? What do I got to do? Is it fixable, or do I need to buy new parts? Governor Homeo sucks. I don't know who Governor Homeo is, Richard, but let's not make this live stream about you, okay, buddy? I mean, I'm sure you could tell we're talking about something completely different right now. It's like you are either deaf, blind, or you are the biggest narcissist that has ever come into my live stream. Chuckles, McGursky, McGriddle, McGee. What's up? Now, if Chuckles was with me, he could beat all their fucking asses. Now I wouldn't have to worry about it. Chuckles knows it too. But Chuckles isn't with me, so I'm on my own, buddy. Yes, it's possible the cable just came loose. Really? Do you have any 4x4 shops around? A good shop should be able to fabricate a new one. We could do it if I had the original part. You think it's a cable? You guys are awesome. You're already making me feel better. Look, you're making me smile. I love you guys. I started this show, I was in such a bad mood, man. I never expected this kind of a reaction. The button is a safety mechanism. Oh, bro, let me tell you about that fucking button. You know, if that button doesn't work, you can't shift it while you're in drive. You can't shift it into the other gears. Number one. Number two, oh, it'll shift into neutral and reverse real easily, though. It'll just fly up there, man. That lever, you know? Oh, it's a fucking safety mechanism, all right. It's a requirement. You can't be driving around with the shifter that could just get bumped into reverse while you're going 60 miles an hour down the fucking road in a Jeep. That can't be safe. You know? And those guys should have never let me drive out of there with that fucking vehicle in that condition. They should have immediately known that that was a road hazard. I didn't. That's never happened before. I got about halfway home and I realized when that fucking thing slipped around and I was like, dude, this could fucking kill me. This is... Wow, Richard, it's like I'm talking to a fucking... It's like I'm talking to somebody from another planet, bro. Did you hear what I said? I said nobody gives a fuck about your topic, okay? You're on somebody else's live stream. It's mine. I've come up with a topic. I titled the fucking video. We're literally talking about it. And you're still fucking having your little narcissistic cunt conversation with yourself. Richard Scheffler, stop being a fucking cunt, okay? Stop being a cunt, bro. You're being a cunt. I don't like cunts. Am I mechanically inclined? I could turn a wrench, bro. I got guns. I got pythons. I could turn a wrench, you know, and I can use tools to my advantage to where, like, I'm by myself, you know, and I'm used to working alone. To not have that other person to grab something or hold something in place for you, it makes it so much easier, right? Well, I've learned how to do most of that shit by myself. Richard Schreffler, now you're saying me too. Richard, I have no idea what you're saying me too about. I said many things to you. I don't know what you're saying me too about. Certainly you understand that, right? I'm not a mind reader. Okay, we need to get the console apart and see exactly what's come loose or broke. All right, Jeffrey. I don't know how to do that. I'll have to look and see if there's screws that hold it together or what. But thank you so much, Jeffrey. I appreciate this help. You work too. Richard, you're not making any sense. You're just giving me fragments of thoughts that make no sense on my live stream, bro. Do you understand that, Richard Schreffler? Are you drunk? Are you drinking alcohol, brother? Are you smoking crack cocaine? Mikey Hernandez. Mikey Hernandez. Mikey Hernandez. Mikey Hernandez. Hey, Mikey. I don't know why that name seems familiar to me for some reason. You're not drinking? All right. Well, Richard, we're talking about my Jeep. Okay? You came in here basically babbling like you're, you know, completely incoherent and out of touch with everything going on around you. But we're talking about my Jeep. The mechanics fucking broke my goddamn shifter. I'm pissed about it. I want to get high. And I really don't need some fucking narcissist coming in here trying to talk politics right now. It's really the last thing I want to be thinking about. Okay? Usually there'll be some screws and clips that just snap in and out, but be careful with the clips. Right? And I'm sure I'm going to fucking break them. I'll look at it. Yeah. Curing up on that alien overlord. I just ate Drippy Treat mushroom chocolate bars, so I'll be having a good time in about an hour. Mushroom. Wow, it makes you trip? Dude, that's crazy. David, do you live in Colorado, bro? They give you edibles that make you trip, bro. Oh my god. What's the aroma of that alien overlord? I understand what you mean about our truck. Yeah? You understand we're not talking politics, right? We're talking about some mechanic that fucking destroyed my goddamn truck today. Use a plastic puller on the clips. It's got a slight licorice. Slight. Reminds me of Durban Poison a little bit, buddy. Durban Poison's got way more licorice. This is balanced out with something else. It's a nice balance too, because I don't like too much licorice in my buds. I like just a little bit. Durban Poison's too much licorice. You want to know if the drapes match the curtains, bro? I smell licorice and roses blended together. It's licorice and roses. That's why I don't let anyone drive mine. It was at a fucking shop, bro. What do you do when you drop your vehicle off at a fucking mechanic shop, Richard? You know, it's like people just don't fucking think. That's why I don't let anybody drive mine. Richard, I really need you to fucking settle down and fucking put your adult fucking communication helmet on, okay? I really need that from you tonight, bro. I mean, you take your vehicle to a fucking mechanic's. Somebody else is going to drive your fucking vehicle, dude. Right? They're going to have to test drive it. They're going to have to pull it around. They're going to have to pull it onto the goddamn lift. They're going to have to pull it back out into the parking lot. Maybe test drive it again to see if they fixed it. What kind of bullshit do you try to fucking throw on me, bro? That is why I don't let anyone drive my car. Just, Richard, just quit trying to fucking bullshit me, okay? Seriously, man. Just calm down. Fucking just be truthful, man, and honest, and don't say shit because you think it makes you look cool. It makes you look like a fucking asshole, man. Because I can see right through people like you, man. And sometimes I wish I couldn't, man. But I can, and I can't help but call people out on their bullshit. Because it really aggravates me that much. The whole, whatever the fuck it is you call what you're fucking doing, bro. Appeasing, brown-nosing, fucking trying to impress, going one-up. That was you're trying to go one-up on me. Oh, well, it doesn't happen to me because I don't let anybody drive my car. Well, fuck you, you're a cunt. Like I said before, you're a fucking cunt. And you say cunt shit. And, you try to pass it off as being friendly, but I could see through your fucking friendliness, and I could see that you're being a fucking ass. Hey, Steve Running, what's up, buddy? Thank you, bro. I appreciate your sympathy. Here, let me do this bong rip. I really need one, man. No law regarding cannabis. Cannabis is a for all. Cyber style. Cheers, everybody. Brian, what kind of a question is that? What, you think I'm lying? Brian, you think I'm a fucking liar? Now you're accusing me of being a liar? And listen, Brian, you've been here since the beginning of this show, and maybe you walked away. Did you walk away and come back, and you missed the whole fucking thing that I said? It's okay if you did. I mean, I'm just saying, everybody knows the fucking story. I want to go out there and look at the shifter and see if the case comes up. All right, a shifter cable and a neutral safety cable. I wasn't sure if that was the reason why you took it there in the first place. Sorry, I must have missed that part. Brian, I totally did not take the fucking vehicle there for that. I took it there for 3 other things. And you know, they fixed, now it starts. They fixed that. They put a new battery in it. It turns right over and it starts. Yay. There was grinding when I was in 4-wheel drive. Really bad. He said he couldn't get it to do it. I put it in 4-wheel drive tonight coming up the driveway and it didn't make any grinding sounds. It's really hard to put it in 4-wheel drive now if the shifter's fucked up. Christy, it's a Mahindra Roxor 2019. Roxor. Thank you if you're looking for stuff on the internet for me. I'm having a really hard time finding these parts. You know, I would just replace the goddamn shifter thing. But it makes sense, man. What Brian said, or I'm sorry, what Jeffrey said, is that it's the cable and not the button. I was thinking it was like a rod that went from the button down. I was imagining some plastic thing. But yeah, a cable would make sense. And maybe it did just come off, you know. I want to go down there so bad and work on it right now. New information. But fuck that shit. There's 26 people here. I ain't going anywhere, man. We're fucking hanging out and getting high. We're 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 getting high. I gave Beazle a bath today. Cleaned his ears. After the bath, his ear bothered him one time. I took a Q-tip and just cleaned it a little bit. And some really bad earwax came out. And I think I got it, man. I think I got what was bothering him. I think he's good. He's a happy little camper. He's a happy little bees. Little piglet. He's a happy little rogie roadsters. Rogie. That wakes him up when I do that. I love you, Rogan. Did you hear me go, Rogie? He's so cute. Can I kiss your face? Can I kiss your face? Kiss your face. It's so cute. He pulls away from me and he won't let me kiss his face. He knows I'm going to do that. I missed the night grow. Megsy Williams. We could turn the camera on out there. We'll see what's going on out there. Hey, man. The solar's back on. The solar camera's working again. Oops. There we go. That, now, guess what? You can finally see the giant cherry tomato tree that was behind plant number 1. And that other stalk that you see right there is that cannabis plant that just started growing out of the dirt. And it actually smells pretty goddamn good. It smells kind of like chocolate. I went out there today and smelled it. It smells kind of like chocolate. Take us in the bong to the truck. I will walk you through it. Jeffrey Barkley. And the bong. Take us to the truck. Jeffrey's a take charge kind of guy. I love it. Jeffrey, thank you so much, brother, for offering all of your help tonight. You have put a smile on my face. You've made me, and all of you have too. And you made me feel so much more comfortable. All of you guys, all of the support that you guys give me. And I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Damon Faulkner, thanks, buddy. Now I kind of know that it's just going to be fine. I know it's just going to be an easy fix. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? So he had to drive it to test for the grinding while in four-wheel drive and should have felt the shifter issue unless he's the one that caused the shifter. They should be fixed the issue. David, somebody else drove the car when they tried to put wheels and tires on it today and they didn't fit. That's when they broke the fucking shifter. They were hoping that I wasn't gonna fucking catch it. That's the only logical explanation. And you know, when you're that shop and you're doing that kind of business with a guy like me, you don't ever do that. So it doesn't make sense. It kind of makes me think that my friend, the mechanic that was in there that was doing it, that it did it, and he was like, well, that's kind of weird, and didn't really think about it because he had other things on his mind. That's what I think happened. Because him and one of the guys that's a friend of mine, another friend of mine that works there, that's been here, both of them have been to my home. The other guy's been to my house twice to work on things here in my house. So I know these guys. They both walked over to my Roxor. I hopped in it. I started it up. I was like, wow, it cranks right up. I went to put it in drive. I go, whoa. And then I went like that with the shifter. I was like, whoa. And my boy, the mechanic, he's right there in my window. The other guy's walking up. And the other guy's behind him. He's like, yo, what's up? And my boy's like, what's up? And I'm like, shifter, bro. They're like, what's going on? I'm like, well, it's got a button. And the button's broken. Yeah, I can't press the button. And the whole shifter's just going up and down, all the way up and down. It's not supposed to do this. And he looked at it, and they didn't know what at first. They were a little surprised and shocked. And then I went, it's almost as if somebody sat in here and didn't realize there was a button and couldn't get it into drive and just wrenched it down and broke it. And then they both just kind of were like, oh, yeah, that's exactly what happened. So I honestly think that the guy who did it, he probably knows he fucking did it. And he was hoping somebody else was going to maybe catch the blame for it, or they were going to get away with it. But I honestly believe that it's possible that my mechanic, he was worried about so many other things on that machine that was the last thing on his mind. But I'll bet you this. I'll bet you my mechanic right now sitting at home going, oh man. He's like, yeah, that thing did move down. He's like, and I didn't really think about it. He's like, yeah, that thing is broken. And he knows that it wasn't broken when he took it off the lift. And he put that bitch in reverse and he took the emergency brake off. And he drove that bitch off the lift, off the trailer. He knew that shit was working right. Well, I want him to test drive the shit out of mine personally. I want him to fucking drive it hard and bring it back wet, you know? That's the only way you're gonna know, because you're gonna fucking do it. Yeah, I'm gonna get in that motherfucker and I'm gonna rage on it. And if they haven't raged on it yet, I'm gonna be the one that breaks it, and they're not gonna like that. So yeah, you got to do that, Christy. That's a good thing to do to a vehicle. Get on it, put it to its limits a little bit, and make sure that when the customer gets it, everything is working properly. It could take a beating. If it could take your beating, it's going to take regular driving. Oh, it took a lot of force to break it. Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. It took a lot of force. Maybe a couple beers, you know? Maybe a couple on-the-job beers. Who knows? Frankie, that's okay, brother, man. It's okay. You don't have to apologize for that shit. Every show is a galaxy. Every show is a galaxy. In the entire universe of a whole bunch of other galaxies. But the galaxy is pretty complicated, right? But it's a separate entity. It floats away in another part of space. Just forget it was even there. Nice axes was influenced on. God, had to fucking bring that shit up again. You couldn't keep your fat fucking mouth shut. Frankie, you couldn't keep your fat fucking... Could you? Some people just don't have the ability. Do you know what you lack, Frankie? You lack tact and self-control. And you lack some common sense, too. You know, there was no need for you to bring it up, and now you did, and now you brought the fucking guitars up again. And what? I'm not supposed to remember now everything that you fucking did and said last night? You said you were sorry. You should have let it fucking go. You didn't even need to do that. Think about it. Maybe it just broke the spring. It is spring loaded. You're right. Yeah, I'm telling you. It'll be nice that thing starts catching again. Frankie needs a good shaking. Well, shake it up, Frankie, now. Shake it up, Frankie. Twist and shout. Twist and shout. Come on, come on, come on. Load your bong up, Frankie. Load your bong. Come on and work. Let's work it on out. Working on out. Ooh, working on out. Working on out. You know you got them dabs. Got them dabs. You know you're smoking lots of bowls now. Smoking lots of bowls now. And you're in his garden. In his garden. Ooh. But no, Frankie, I hate you. I fucking hate you. I just really, seriously, bro, seriously bring it up. I don't hate you, but seriously, I wish people would just use a little bit of common sense. There was no need for you to bring up last night at all. And now you did, and you reminded me of all of your bullshit from last night. You know? It is. No, 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 no. It's not. It is what it is. No, it's not. Now, you're just being a douchebag, bro. You need to just quit while you're the fuck ahead. Seriously, Frankie. I'm starting to not like you. Yes, it's so hard for some people to just have a fucking conversation and not talk, you know, shit. You just dig yourself deeper and deeper and deeper. And you know what it is, Frankie? You have a problem with communicating. You do. You have an issue around that. You don't think about other people's feelings before you speak. You know. And since you knew how I felt about it yesterday, you should have had the common sense to come in here today and not fucking talk about it again. I got a fucking Muppet mouth. Muppet mouth. Muppet mouth. Mama 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 papa 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 Muppet mouth. I like that better. I like it better. I like it better now that you're not saying anything. I like that. I like the silence. You know, for the first time ever on this chat, I'm happy that you're not saying anything. It's good. It's good. It's really good. It's really good, bro. Keep doing that. Keep doing what you're doing, bro. If this is you, keep doing you. See how it's working for you, bro? It's like you're building up fucking credibility. Which, with each second that you keep your fat fucking mouth shut. I'm eating licorice. It's licorice, right? Computer, how do you pronounce licorice?
I pronounce that licorice, but I'm always working on how I say things and I might not have it right. By the way, you have one new notification. When you see the yellow light ring on your device, it means you have a notification or message. Just say, read my notifications.
Computer, enunciate the word licorice.
I don't know.
Oh, shut up! Hey, what's up, Higgins? It's fucking Higgins. I haven't seen you in forever, Lawrence. I had dry mouth too, and I just kind of blew it off, and it's getting better. My Muppet mouth is going away. Frankie, the dude says lame. Dude, it's not lame, bro. Listen, man. Frankie, listen to me. Okay? In all seriousness, listen. There's a million things that you and I can talk about where you're not reminding me about bullshit. You know? Let's go to one of those other places. Let's take a walk, shall we? Let's walk away from that, right? And well, you know what I like, Frankie, is you come in and you see what we're all talking about. We were talking about trying to fix my shifters, and you came in and interrupted it, narcissistically fucking interrupting the whole conversation. And changed the topic. But what I think you should have done, or could still do, is get on our topic with us. You know? I was talking to somebody else about that earlier. I called him a cunt. Several times, actually. I haven't called you that, though, Frankie. I like you, Frankie. And I like that other guy, too. I like everybody. But when someone's acting like a cunt, I'm going to call him a cunt. I'm not saying that you are, though, bro. I'm just saying I called that guy one. And he totally deserved it. I'm eating licorice, all sorts. Okay. Dry mouth. What's up, Magnum? Google is much smarter. Megs, spell the word out and ask the computer what it is. Psh, nobody spells out words anymore, Jeffrey Barkley. Unreal. Psh, Lawrence Higgins, love that shirt, man. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Kev, hey, Nay, good morning from UK. 7 a.m. here, so I'm waking big time for me before my shift starts. Hey, Kev Dowdy, right on, my brother. Fucking A. You guys, hey, you guys like that the camera's back up? Does that make you happy? You see that giant? You see the giant tomato plant? Look at that. Giant tomato on the left, guys. That is all tomato. And, oh yeah, it's 8 feet tall. That is an 8-foot tall tomato plant. Easy. Easy 8 feet tall. I just had the tomato. Remember I told you guys I was going to eat that tomato? I had it tonight with my pizza and my wings. It was fucking delicioso. One of those tomatoes. The bigger tomato, I believe, is still in there. Nobody likes you. Overrated. Frankie the dude. Oh, I thought we were friends, buddy. Really? And so now you're really showing your ass. That's funny. What, did I hurt your feelings, bro? Because I called you on your bullshit? Did I hurt your feelings, bro? Well, you know what? I'd apologize, but I generally don't apologize to people that I block for my live stream. So, you can suck my dick. You're a fucking cunt. I don't think I blocked the other guy that I called a cunt. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? I think it's funny. I'm looking like this on the outside, but I'm laughing on the inside. Like a clown. With big clown shoes on. Aw, somebody's gonna get blocked from a live stream. Bye. That's 3 blocks. 3 blocks. A 3 blocks. A 3 blocks. A 3 blocks. Oh, David, he's blocking people again. You better call Bruce and tell him he's gonna have to call my lawyer. He's gonna have to call my doctor, and they're all gonna have to have a conference, and we're gonna discuss him. We're all gonna have a discussion about him. And Bruce, tell David we need him to bring his steno pad, and tell the stenographer to show up too this time, okay? Thank you. You're a beautiful person. You've always been beautiful. Oh, David, you're so beautiful. You are a beautiful person. You are a beautiful person. How does he say person? When you're from New Jersey, how do you say person? Oh, David, you're so beautiful. Oh, David, Bruce. David, Bruce, you're so beautiful. We had to block some people tonight, I heard, from the live show. It's very sad. I'm saddened by all of that. Alien Overlord. I've got my pen now. need to put my 6 on here. Six. Tape, please. Mutton chops.
Oh, David, mutton chops, definitely. Definitely with the mutton chops. I wouldn't have it any other way. I would only go with the mutton chops, of course. Are you gonna do your little trick with the tape, David? Oh, it's so cool when you do that. Oh, David, it's gotta be so cool when you do this. Oh. Go get your second piece of tape, darling. You're beautiful. You're beautiful, baby.
Flat out! The alien overlord, man. I used to be in a band called 6 is 9. I named that band 6 is 9.
It's a block party. It's a block party. So maybe David C. Baker Jr. can help me talk better like this. He could tell me how to say block party correctly if I was from New Jersey, because he lives in New York. Maybe he could help me with my accent. You know, if you're talking like this, buddy, you just gotta fucking stop doing that shit, you know? It doesn't take much effort. You know, if you're fucking trying to do a goddamn block party weekend, what I'm doing is I'm smoking a little bit, we're drinking here.
Richard Treffler, you are a sweet man, aren't you? That guy that I called him a cunt before. He says, I hope you can get your truck fixed soon. Thanks, buddy. Me too, bro. Me too. I'm going to go out there tonight, and I'm going to look at it and just see if I can fix it myself. I have a feeling that cable is... I have a feeling it's under the undercarriage, bro. You know? It's going to be in a spot where it's going to be really hard to get to unless you can take that housing off. And, you know, maybe it just comes right up. Maybe there's 4 Phillips screws that hold it in. Well, don't you remember when they used to make things like that? Fucking Phillips screws and shit. And you just fucking take shit apart and fix it and put it back together again. Oh, those were the days. Pull the console first? What do you mean pull the console first? David Long, what's the console? What do you mean the console? It's a Jeep. There's a couple of rubber glove boxes and drink holders right there. Is that what you're talking about? Pull that thing out. Got a thing for your cell phones. It's awesome. Maybe the problem is right there in the housing, David. Maybe I don't have to... When you say console, Richard, you're sorry to upset me. Richard, you didn't really upset me. I just want you to be a little bit more conscious of the conversation when you pop in, bro, you know? Be conscious of what other people are talking about. If you walk up to a group of people, don't just immediately make it about you or what you've got going on or what you're thinking about. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like when people bring up topics on my live stream. It's not bad. You just came in at a bad time, bro. Was trying to fucking troubleshoot something, you know? So no, I'm not upset. I like that you tried to bring something up. The shifter console, yes, what you said. Oh yeah, that thing. Well, yeah, bro, that's got to come up, man. You know, hopefully there's just a cable. It's just hanging there on a hook, bro. It's just sitting there, and all I got to do is blink, and it's like blink, 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 and it's going click, click, click again. Oh, and then all of that anxiety would have been over just nothing, basically. And I kept thinking that I was like, man, it might be nothing, but then I was like, man, might have to replace this whole fucking thing. Yeah, it was. I'm pretty sure it was either jammed into gear or jammed into park. You know? I just can't believe someone. No, 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 Richard. No, no, no. Not God bless. No, not God bless. You don't get to do that. Okay? You take that back. You do that at your church, okay? You do that with your God-fearing friends, okay? You don't do that on my live stream. No God. Okay? Okay, Richard, I understand you probably need that thing in your life. I understand it, okay? But you don't get to fucking throw that shit on me and my audience. Alright? You don't get to say God, you don't get to say bless, and you definitely don't get to say God bless. Okay? Okay, Richard? Are you with me on that? I like this guy, Richard. I really like you, Richard. Hey, Just Jay, what's up? What's up, what's up? I'm on that fucking alien overlord shit's got me whacked out of my mind, bro. I'm like, look at my eyes, bro. They're like half shut. All right, cool, Richard, good. So you could say, don't leave. I'd rather you stay and hang out. But if you're leaving or salutations or whatever, you can wish people well without throwing your beliefs into it. That is very important. Very important to remember that. It's the Church of Cannabis here, says Tatum. It's the School of Cannabis. My bees. All right, so we say cyber style when we do this. We say no law regarding cannabis. Cannabisism, tisms for all. Cheers, everybody. We get high up in this bitch. Matt Dillahunty can't pronounce right. He's smart. Steve Running, do you love Matt Dillahunty? Isn't he great? I disagree with him. I disagree with Matt Dillahunty on definitely one thing. And Matt Dillahunty disagrees with himself on one thing too. You know what? I wonder if I could find it. So I'm watching Atheist Experience, right? And Matt is talking to somebody. And at one point he says, you can't take the word of one person and regard that as evidence. He said that, right? Okay, so here, check this out. I love this guy. And I love this girl too. They're great. They're fantastic. But I'm gonna interject here. I'm gonna say some things as we watch this together. I think you guys are gonna enjoy this. This is the Atheist Experience. They're every Sunday. They're live in Texas.
So you think that you tell us how to live our life, and the questioning the thoughts from which your mind close your eyes. You think that suffering is part of some great plan that's been devised. I wonder, what would it take for you to start opening your eyes?
Yay! And there's all this cheering, and then once upon a time there was a sheet of glass in front of us with like 30 or 35 people on the other side, and they were all cheering and screaming, and there was a mic pointing to them, and
Missed that.
yeah, I miss that too.
I-
And I miss you. How are you, Jenna?
I'm good. It's good. to
I
see
always
you.
tell you guys.
too? Hey everybody, welcome to the Atheist Experience. We are live. Today is Sunday, November 1st.
I always tell you
2020.
guys
if you are in the United States and you are over 18 and you are eligible
to
registered
subscribe to
vote,
the Atheist
if you haven't
Experience.
voted
Matt
already, prepare
Dillahunty.
yourself
He
to
puts the
vote.
hunt in Dillahunty.
That's election day.
You should be watching this
We
guy.
have and not just because
This
it's a
guy
presidential
is
election,
fucking
there are House
class.
races, Senate races, there are local races, there are issues.
Okay, he
on the
keeps
ballots
it
in
real
front
as
of you, and while
fuck.
the Atheist Community of Boston is a non-profit, non-partisan educational corporation supporting positive atheism.
He's gonna
and
say
the
something on
separation of
this
religion and government.
that
We're not here to tell you
completely
how to vote. We're just
contradicts
here to encourage you to vote. We've done that both
with
video messages from the hosts of the various shows and people behind the scene, and we really, from what I've seen so far, the turnout's been amazing. There are, I think it was 65% of everyone who voted in Texas in 2016. More
Completely
than that has
contradicts
already voted
with
in the early elections.
the argument him and I are having
I
with
mean,
each other.
And not many people normally vote early, do they?
Yeah, it tends to be mostly one-sided, and it was. I mean, I think we're like 10 times what the. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. I didn't study because I wasn't preparing for politics. I just wanted to. This is the Atheist Experience show. So if you have a belief in a god or supernatural or anything like that that you find is interesting, you can call it, talk to us, and tell us what you believe and why. This show is a product of the Atheist Community of Boston, which I've already promoted a little bit. If you're watching us live, directly above the chat, which probably is that way, I'm going to guess maybe, there's a donate button, and everything you donate, Google and YouTube take no cut of. It goes directly to us. It's a nonprofit organization. It helps promote this show, Talk Heathen Truth Wanted. And by the way, nonprofits, which I'll be talking about in just a minute. In addition to being able to click the donate link there, you can also get merchandise at bit.
I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit here.
Moving forward, what decisions you guys have made about teaching, how are you going to talk about religion and other stuff. And so if you're a caller and you've got calls like that, Jenna's driving today, which means she's picking who's going to be on from the first call to the last call. And so if you've got questions for Jenna, you can call in 512-991-9242 or tiny.cc/callaxp. I think the lines may be full now. So Jenna, are you ready to start taking callers?
Yeah, let's go with this guy Eddie that tried to call last week.
Oh boy.
But it sounds like you want to put Matt's bad arguments against the Christian God to bed once and for all. The moral arguments specifically. What's up, Eddie? How are you
Well,
doing?
first of all, let me start by congratulating Jenna on being pregnant. I hope everything is fine with the baby and everything goes well. Well, last time I called, but it didn't seem to go well because I didn't seem to last a lot. I think Matt took offense at something I said. I don't remember the exact details. But
Did you start off by talking about how I had been running my mouth off?
I think it was shooting your mouth off, but yeah, basically.
Shooting my mouth off, okay.
Either. Yeah, okay.
Do you understand that that's a weird objection to launch at someone who has hosted a weekly show for more than 15 years to suggest you've been shooting your mouth off?
Like
Go
me.
ahead.
Well, yeah, I guess it was.
Let's put the past in the past, and Eddie can take
Like
the
with
task
Tim
with
Black
real good
does.
argumentation. Go for
Because
it.
they're watching him tonight.
Yeah. So this actually is much harder because you've used a version of this argument over a long time. So it's going to be harder for me to put it into syllogistic form. But if I misrepresent you, feel free to just jump in and stop me.
Oh, that's a guarantee. Like, if you misrepresent me, I'm going to correct it. Otherwise, we're wasting time.
All right. So basically what I understand is your argument boils down to this. The Christian God, at least as most Christians understand the God to be, is incompatible either with the quote immorality we observe, or evil we observe, or in the actual world, or the immorality that's seen in the Bible. Would that be correct?
Okay, so I'm going to fast forward here and try to find this spot because it's not this guy, it's somebody else.
So when God says so, how do you tell the difference between somebody who thinks God told him to beat someone and someone who God actually told to beat someone? And now I'll be quiet, sorry.
Sorry. So that's a good question, but it's unfortunately irrelevant here because you asked me to give a situation.
Talking about how do I know what you're thinking in your brain and what God is actually telling you is the same thing?
Yes, and you have not said no. Does your God manifest in any detectable way in reality? Does he do things that we can identify?
37 minutes in.
Yes.
What?
On the design thing.
Oh my fucking God.
Because he's convinced that design is evidence.
Well, he's wrong, but
So how do you explain that?
I'm trying. Design is not interaction. What is your God doing today that we can detect? Because he ain't making DNA.
So then what is your evidence that DNA designs itself?
Who said that?
Yeah, who said that?
Well, you're making an
Don't assume.
assumption that. Well, okay, fine. So you said that God does not create, that does not design DNA.
No, I did not say that. You don't seem to be listening very carefully. I said, what is your God doing today? Because he's not designing DNA today. DNA is done. It exists, independent of whether your God did it or whether it is a naturalistic chemical process, which is what the evidence points to. I asked, what's your God doing today?
And I'm answering.
No, you're not.
No, you're trying to tell us what we think. And I'd really, really like you to stop telling us what we think and try to tell us how we can objectively tell that there's a God. Because we don't believe it anymore. We've looked into this. We have spent a lot of time on this. Matt spent a lot more time on this than I have. And we have not found any answers. So what is the answer that you can give us that we can objectively say, yes, there is a God? Because I look out and I see design and it's not what I disagree with you. So that is not objective.
Okay, well, let's go with the beginning. Do you agree that there was a beginning to the universe like the Big Bang from a point of singularity?
I agree that the current best explanation from science is Big Bang cosmology. Whether or not that actually happened or whether or not there's some way to demonstrate that is a separate issue, but that's the current best scientific explanation for the origin of the universe.
So then do you agree that, according to logic, either the universe had a beginning from nothing or an unmoved mover
Or there's fairies.
Or something else. So if you don't get to say from logic if you do not make an argument that is actually consistent with logic. For it to be consistent with logic, you have to have a true dichotomy. And to get to that, what you would say is, are you in agreement that the universe was either intentionally created by an intelligent agent or that it was not? Because that is a direct dichotomy. The universe was either created by an intelligent agent or it was not created by an intelligent agent.
To commit
I would agree that is a true dichotomy.
slavery.
But you don't get to pick what.
It's
You don't get to
okay,
put God
the
up
guy
against
says.
one portion of the not.
Says,
It's
how do
yes or
I
no.
know?
I'm leading to it. That's why I'm leading to
No,
it.
no,
God
sir,
is
you
speaking to
weren't. What you did was you put up either God
He's
did
like-
it or it designed itself.
He's like, you just have
So
to
that's
know.
not a
And
true
he's
dichotomy.
like,
So
no.
either an
It's
intelligent
like,
agent
you
designed the
can't-
universe or an intelligent agent did not design the
Evidence
universe.
is
That
not
is
the
a true
voice of what
dichotomy.
one person says or something like that. I'm going to
So
find
it's
that. It's going to
it's
come
either
up.
true or it isn't then.
Everything is either true or it's not true. Everything. That's what logic is.
Okay. Right, and then I agree with you. I agree with
Okay.
you. Oh,
And we're saying we don't know.
so
So I'm going to give up on ever getting an answer about whether God does anything detectable in reality. But if you're going to talk about, hey, how do you explain the origin of the universe? The correct answer may be there is no explanation currently for the origin of the universe. And if you think you can explain it with a God, you have to provide the
Thank
proof
you.
and the evidence to meet the burden of that.
Maybe
that
the
claim.
universe
It
has
sounds to
always
me
been
like
here.
you have been
and
given
we
a
just
lot to think
can't-
about, Jesus, and I think that you should take what Matt said
Wrap
and
our
go
brains
learn a
around
little bit
that.
more about dichotomies. I'm going to as well. you know, there's a lot that we can learn. So instead of asserting that we all have all the answers, let's listen to each other and consider what everyone has to say, because that's how we know what's true, is we listen and we determine. So thank you, Jesus, for calling.
Can I just say one last thing before?
Sure.
Yeah, okay, so I'll just say this. If I believe the atheist worldview were true, I would be an atheist.
There is no atheist.
There is no atheist worldview. Atheism is simply not being convinced that a God exists. Everything else about my worldview is independent of that. You and I'm gonna guess here, Jesus. Do you believe that we're on a planet that is round, like an oblate spheroid, and not flat? Me too.
Yeah,
and do you believe that that planet orbits the sun instead of the other way around? Do you think the sun goes around the Earth, or do you think the Earth goes around the sun?
And he goes, yeah.
I believe the Earth goes around the sun.
Me too. So there's two things that we believe. Neither one of them has anything to do with whether or not I'm a God, and they're both part of both of our worldviews. The difference here is that I think I'm in a shared reality with other people. I'm assuming you think you're in a shared reality with other people, right?
Right.
And when somebody says, why is there something rather than nothing, my answer is, I don't know. And your answer is?
Obviously God.
So,
How is that obvious?
And when you come forward and you say, obviously God, first of all, that's a dishonest response, because you're trying to poison the well by claiming it's obvious and implying that the rest of us aren't seeing the obvious. And so when we then ask, please give us your evidence for God, I'm very thrilled that you're one of the only people who came in and offered a definition of God. However, you included in your definition that God exists outside of time, space, and matter. Well, first of all, I have no reason to think that there is such a place or such a possibility as being outside time, space, and matter. But by definition, nothing exists outside of time, because outside of time is not existence. It makes no sense to say something exists for 0 seconds. Okay? If it doesn't exist with inside time, existence is necessarily temporal. Nothing exists for 0 seconds. Now, the best you could do is say God exists in a different time-space reality that is a meta container for our time-space reality, and then you would have solved that problem that I just raised. The problem is, how do you demonstrate that there's that space exists, that there's any sort of meta container? You can't, which is why I asked about the one and only thing that matters. How does your God manifest in reality? Because if you are claiming to detect a God that is undetectable, you are definitionally irrational. And if you are claiming to detect a God that is detectable, then you should be presenting those detections to us and not simply asserting that it's obvious or that you're convinced that a God created DNA. This is how we go about demonstrating the truth of propositions. You provide evidence for your belief that the reason there's something rather than nothing is that God did it. And until you do that, I am by definition absolutely right and reasonable to say that my answer is still I don't know, because you haven't met your burden of proof.
But you said the atheist worldview is not true. How can that be true?
It's not. No, sir. You just don't listen. Neither one of us said the atheist worldview isn't true. We said there is no such thing as an atheist worldview. Atheism is a position on a single issue. If you're not going to listen, I'm done talking.
I'm asking because is that not an objection?
No, you're not asking. You're not listening. I just explained in great detail. You should go back and listen to the last minute or two over and over and over again, because your immediate response was to accuse me of saying the atheist worldview is false, which is fucking stupid and shows that you weren't listening.
Yeah, I dropped him. He's going to go back and listen or call back or something. Okay. Thank you, Jesus. That was actually my favorite call today so far. That was productive.
And it would be nice if more people would actually define their God, because the more specifics you put into that definition, the easier it is to demolish. You would think, if it were real, then the more you define it, the easier it is to demonstrate that it actually exists or that it doesn't exist. And that's why the vagaries in the God definitions are the only thing keeping religion alive. As soon as they get to specifics, they lose.
He listed off like 3 or 4 things at the very beginning.
Right.
He exists outside of space and time, and this, and this, and this. And it's like, okay, well, let's stop at one. Let's stop at the first one before we go on to the others. So maybe take it one thing at a time, listen to what Matt said over and over again. Like he said, I'm probably going to as well.
Or no, go listen to some other people. I'm not here just saying, oh, I'm right, you're wrong. But if this is a calling show and we're having a discussion, and if in the course of discussion I ask specific questions, and you are completely unable to answer them, that doesn't mean you're stupid. It doesn't mean you're wrong. It just means that you weren't prepared for this particular conversation. So go off and prepare and call again. Yeah. It's good. It's easy.
Yeah. Thank you again for calling, Jesus. So let's talk. I'm kind of curious what Anthony has to say in Florida. It says that you want to call us out for hypocrisy about lack of belief in God. What are we cherry picking?
Yeah, hi guys. I've called before, so thanks for putting me back on. Hope to have a civil conversation.
Sure.
Hypocrisy. I'll start this way. This goes for both Jenna and Matt. Would you vote for a politician who believes in God, who's like actively?
Yes, I just did. I voted just the other day, and since the two primary, both the Republican and the
this
Democrat
is pretty obnoxious.
I voted for one of the two of them.
I'm going to skip
and so
through
I
this
voted for
one.
someone who claims to believe in God, as I've done every time I voted.
This is not it. This one.
You have no issue with that, so would you vote?
No.
guy's trying to make a point.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to explain it, but I don't know if I'm not thoroughly explaining or not. By using the analogy of a politician who believes in Christianity versus a politician who believes in Zuzu, the space god or whatever, obviously you're going to find one more outrageous than the other, correct? The one
Nope.
or the more.
Nope, sorry. I'm done with you.
Click.
I don't see any point to that call. We are not solving any
She
problems.
just fucking
any issue, we're
hangs
not
up
fixing
on a
anything.
motherfucker. I
By the
love
way, you
it.
can email TV and Atheist Type Community, and if you come up with a point where we're hypocritical, that's fine. But I don't know how long that call was.
Too long. But when you think about all of these hypothetical situations, what would you do if this really extreme scenario happened? Well, I'm not worried about it because that's a really extreme
He
scenario.
said, what
so
would
it's
you
not
do
really
if somebody
likely to
held a
happen.
gun
I'm
to
more
your
likely
head
to
and
think that
asked
those are
you
really
if
going
there
to
was a
happen.
god?
Yeah, you know what else is more likely? I'm aging, and what's more likely is that at some point in the future, I may become addled, mentally defective or deficient at some point.
He says,
I may
"Take me."
eventually, like Anthony
He says,
Flew and
take
some
me
others,
off the air if
find
I'm
myself
not
advocating
making
for
any
God
sense.
belief. But the reason that I'll have done it is because I will have lost my faculties and my ability to reason. And at that point, the atheist community of Austin and everybody else should make sure that I'm taken care of and not out on a stage providing ammunition to people like Anthony who think there's something hypocritical about, ooh, you voted for a Christian. Yes, you know what? I love many Christians. I have many Christians in my family. I don't hate Christians. I despise Christianity. I don't hate the religious. I despise their religion and what their religions do. And if you genuinely think there's something hypocritical, then it should be easy to make that case and not just go, well, would you vote for this? Well, would you vote for that? Well, would you vote for that?
Tell
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
Nays
let's talk about
Garden
realistic
sent you,
scenarios and try to
David.
prepare ourselves for things that can actually happen. Let's talk to Dimitri in California. It says that the best argument for God is fine-tuning. This is familiar.
Fine tuning.
How are you doing,
I
Dimitri?
wonder if
Hi,
this is the
thanks for taking
one.
my call. Hi, I'm doing good. How are you guys?
I think we're
Pretty
gonna
good.
fast
Let's talk about
forward.
fine-tuning arguments.
Fast forward to the end of this
How
one.
can you defend it?
Okay, so I should probably first explain what's meant by fine-tuning, because I think different people kind of understand it a little bit differently, but the way I'm using this term is basically the same way that it's used in physics.
Hold on 1 second. Let me just fast forward a little bit here.
I don't see how there could be any evidence that the universe could be any other way. Do you have some ability to rewind the clock and show how it could have gone a different way?
No, but
Okay, then I win.
Did I win?
not exactly, because
Not exactly.
for example,
I love that
if
guy.
you look at
Not exactly.
What theoretical physicists are saying, most of them, if not all of them,
He goes,
believe
I win.
that
That guy goes, not exactly.
that fine-tuning is actually something that really cries out for explanation.
Yes, but hang on. So the fine-tuning within physics that you're saying they want an explanation for, these physicists, how many of them believe in a personal God?
I don't know, probably not a lot.
Probably not a lot. How many of them are advocating that a personal God, or any God, is the best scientific solution to the fine-tuning problem?
Again, not a lot.
Should there be anyone suggesting that a God is the best scientific explanation for the theoretical physical notion of fine-tuning?
Sure, there should be.
Why should there be? Why should there be? Because within science, we only get to appeal to the sort of answers that we can demonstrate are real. You don't even get to include God as a candidate explanation. Science has ruled out the supernatural as acceptable. I mean, ruled it out as acceptable, meaning supernatural explanations are unacceptable within science because we cannot confirm them. So within science, my position is no good scientist should ever say that a God is the best scientific explanation for fine-tuning, because you can't put God within science.
You're welcome, David.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that, for example, other people, or
He's
even scientists who are
he's
currently
friends
not
with Arn
doing
Ra.
science but just thinking about the universe
They do
in
stuff
general
together.
can't believe that God is.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. What I said was I'm looking for scientific explanations. I'm not looking for magical explanations, because I want evidence that is supported. I want explanations that are supported by evidence, not just asserted. And so that's why I like science. And science cannot make appeals to the supernatural. It's based on methodological naturalism. And so science currently, until there's a paradigm shift,
Not based on just what
no
one guy
good
says.
science could ever claim a supernatural
He's gonna say it a
explanation
little later.
is the best scientific
We're gonna find
explanation.
it,
That is
though.
impossible within science as it is.
And then I'm going to explain that the argument that him and I are
Yes,
having.
of course, because that's
I win again.
science.
I
only
win again.
Well, not really. Because
Not really.
Yes, really. I keep saying things that you keep agreeing are correct. So it'd be best if you moved on to the parts that are incorrect.
Well, I was just gonna point that
I
out.
love
So
this guy.
I think we can agree that science cannot, use non-scientific explanations like God, but that doesn't mean that, philosophers or just some people can't.
So it's like you're not even listening, Dimitri. I didn't say that philosophers couldn't, and I didn't say that other people couldn't. I'm talking about whether or not they should. And that gets to the question of, do you have an explanation that isn't within the realm of science? If you do, you have to show why someone should accept that.
I'd like to know how you know anything is true. How do you know something is true? Anything.
Well, I guess I look at the evidence, and I also use a priori reasoning, just logic.
So logic and evidence. Just like we can verify if that car runs on milk.
See, because right now, and I'm gonna let you do this, but right now, we have this process by which we can evaluate the future events based on past events. And so while I don't have an exhaustive understanding of you, probabilistics, and we had this discussion before, you have no priors when it comes to God. Bayesian analysis is misapplied when it is used to try to demonstrate the existence of something for which you have no priors. I'm not wasting any more time on this because I've debated this Bayesian analysis of God over and over, and you can go watch it online rather than wasting our audience's time.
Yeah. I'm curious. Sorry, we dropped in. I'm curious. Let's talk to Cindy in Belgium. It says you need help with a theist argument against deductive and inductive arguments. Is that correct?
Hey, Cindy.
Hi. So yeah, I guess Jenna and I we know each other.
That one was really sad. That one was really depressing. That woman, she lost.
And it was someone who essentially
she lost her mind.
They're 20 years old, and their family started taking pictures of them at consistent intervals, and so they have pictures on a timeline. It's like an 18-minute video.
Oh.
No sound, no nothing. Just here's a picture of them, not necessarily every day, but at frequent intervals for 20 years, and it was really compelling because you could see not only the physical changes of a baby and the face getting longer and the eye color changing and the hair and this other stuff, and oh my gosh, here they are when they they've got some spots on their face, so they're entering teenage and they've got acne and whatever else, and then there would occasionally you'd have a picture where it was obvious that they were just sobbing, did not want to be taking that picture, but it was over and it was like click click click, and it's great. I wish, like, if I was to have a kid tomorrow, I would definitely do that and 20 other things just like it.
Right. With the technology that we have today, growing up, it's like you have this scrapbook that you go through like once every couple of years, right? But now we have so many ways to log. We have so many portals. This is
Holy crap! Do you realize, Jenna, that we have 5 calls on hold, all of them are theists, and there's 8 minutes left in the show.
Jesus, we need the show.
Apologies to whoever we don't get to, but we're gonna do our best to try to get to as many as you can in the last few minutes. Sorry, we're gonna have to rush a bit.
Let's go to John in Georgia. What free will? Are we not responsible for what we believe and do? What do you think?
Yes. Me personally, I think we are, but and Matt, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you believe in predeterminism, predestination. Do you? I mean, can you explain that?
Me? I'm a determinist. I believe that everything happens because something else happened first.
And I am, generally speaking, willing to accept that the universe appears to be largely deterministic and that the only room outside of determinism doesn't allow for things like libertarian free will at all. So.
Okay. Well, going off of that, that's where it's simple and it might be silly, but are we really just determined to, like for me, for example, am I determined to believe in God, and are you determined to not believe in God? You get what I'm asking?
Yeah, so at this particular moment, do you believe in God?
I'm holding on to it. I'm questioning.
So, but it's a simple thing. Do you believe the Earth is round?
Yes.
Then I believe that you were determined, that was a deterministic thing that led to you being convinced that the Earth is round, but that does not mean that you cannot change your mind.
I'm going to fast forward here again.
Portland, so.
Preston in Utah, why don't we accept creation and resurrection claims?
Ooh, I'm so glad to be on today.
Yay! Thanks for coming.
It's the easiest question I've ever had, because if somebody says, Matt, why don't you believe the creation or the resurrection? It's really easy, because there isn't sufficient evidence to warrant belief.
This might be it.
Yes, I haven't been on your show before, but I've
this might be the one. This might be the call.
Maybe I haven't listened enough to hear these particular arguments they're bringing up. I'm assuming that you have opinions on them, but I just couldn't find them, so I wanted to hear them. So I know that physics doesn't require a God. I completely understand that. You could put a totally godless universe together based on the laws of physics.
Mm-hmm.
However, I'm sure you're familiar with the, I guess, the metaphor of if I put $10 into a drawer and then $10 in tomorrow, and then the next day I open the drawer and there's nothing in there. It's not because the laws of physics or the math was broken, it's because there was an outside interaction. So if something happens...
No, I've never heard that metaphor.
What?
Is that a famous metaphor?
You kind of understand it, though?
I get it. If I put $10 in a drawer and I come back and it's missing, something happened to that $10. Okay?
Yeah, it wasn't math, it was broken. It was an outside force, so...
Well, I don't know that it was an outside force. Something happened. I need an explanation. If I put $10 in this drawer right here, and I come back later and it's gone, I need an explanation for it. I don't know what the candidate explanations are yet, although I can start listing some. At no point would I be justified in claiming that there's a supernatural candidate until somebody demonstrates a supernatural candidate that should be included on the list.
Yeah. I guess what I'm just saying is, if your $10 goes missing, it's not that money just disappears sometimes.
Except, no. This is the problem. You have decided what the candidate explanations are, and you have honed down the one that you think is most likely.
Let me fast forward.
Well,
I don't know if this is it.
I have, in fact, lost money in a drawer where no one else was involved. And it's because of the mechanisms of a drawer and air, where a loose bill in that drawer, if it's opened or opened too quickly, that can cause it to adhere up, fall back behind, and now it's no longer in the drawer, even though no other person was involved. It's not worth it. We are agency detection machines.
I'm skipping way ahead.
Three friends who suggest that they know somebody else who stole the body, but I'm not going to let you talk to any of them. Mm-hmm. You're believing stories about stories about stories, and you're counting it. You actually use the word fact. There is nothing within the Christ story in the New Testament, including his birth, miracles, death, or resurrection, which is an actual demonstrable fact. Nothing. Now, in that situation, the stories that you're talking to, see, okay, Paul, Saul had a Damascus Road experience, changed his name to Paul. He wrote some books, but there are books in the New Testament that are attributed to Paul, which we know are forgeries, know were written by somebody else. And then you have all these stories saying, there are Jews that suggest we stole the body, but we didn't. Well, congratulations. Please provide what the actual story was. Because when you start saying, I believe Jesus was bodily resurrected, and there are people out there who claim we stole the body, but we definitely didn't do that. Nobody in that room at that moment should believe it, let alone people 2,000 years later reading about it from anonymous accounts that are copies of copies of translations of copies.
But he believes what Paul says about Jesus.
Yeah, I think I understand that. All right. So I just have a quick question. So are you looking for proof? Or, I mean, it seems like no amount of evidence is going to be enough.
That seems to be absolutely dishonest, and I'm going to let you go and think about what you just said, because the fact of the matter is, Jenna and I will believe anything when there's sufficient evidence. And what you've done and what everybody else has done for the entire history of these arguments is present no evidence, none at all. And when we point this out, you guys keep saying, it just seems like no amount of evidence can ever convince you guys. That is the most dishonest shit I've ever heard. It's not our fault that you believe things for which you cannot and will not present actual evidence. How dare you sit here and keep acknowledging that, oh yeah, I understand, and that makes sense, and I'm just trying to understand, but it seems like no amount of evidence would ever convince you. Well, fuck right on off. And I didn't even have to yell that, because Jenna's pregnant.
Thank you for calling. It sounds like he's really questioning, and I admire that.
I get it. It's just so frustrating when people are like, well, clearly. So when they ask, what would convince you? And I say, I don't know, but if there's a God, he knows. But all I'm really looking for is not proof, which is a mathematical concept, it's evidence. And so if somebody said to you, I have a friend who claimed to be divine. He was killed by a bunch of people, and 3 days later he rose from the dead. And they said that today. The types of questions we would be asking are, okay, where is this person? Can I talk to them? And how do I know that they were killed? Let's compile the evidence. Because this seems inconsistent with reality. And that's if it were happening right now. If Jenna, who I love and adore, said that her best friend just came back from the dead, I would not believe her. I would want evidence. And if she said, well, I can't provide any evidence, but you're just too skeptical, and I don't think any amount of evidence would convince you, I would be a little bit worried about my friend's rationality. If my friend says this, and isn't talking about an actual friend of theirs that they investigated, but a story from an anonymous author that they read, which has been passed around for thousands of years, why on earth is that more believable?
Right. If you're trying to justify this and you're trying to convince people of this, And at every turn, they just say,
He
I'm not
just
convinced, I'm
proves
not
his own
convinced, I'm not
argument.
convinced, and you just can't get past that. I'm wondering why you're convinced.
This is the argument him and I are having.
On that note, Jenna, thank you. First of all, congratulations. I could not be happier for you. So was everybody in chat.
Dude, it was there at the very end. He said it. He said it just a little differently before it, and I think I missed it. But he goes, you can't just take the word of a single person and call that evidence. I called him up and I said, there is absolutely no evidence that Jesus Christ ever even existed. And he goes, there's the story from Paul. So for him, it's okay to take the word of one person that Jesus Christ existed. One person. He takes the word of one person that Jesus Christ existed, was a real person. He doesn't believe any of the stories, but he leaves that little tiny bit of possibility that Jesus Christ was a real person that really existed. There's a lot of evidence to the fact that Jesus Christ did not exist, actually. You want to know what that evidence is? It's the refutal of every single piece of evidence that people claim is evidence that Jesus Christ existed. It's the scientific rebuttal of every single thing. If that's not evidence enough for Matt, man, and him and I butted heads on this. And I called him up and I said, Jesus Christ did not exist. He said, Paul. The story from Paul. Paul spoke to, he said the apostles, or he said he spoke to the, I don't know, he spoke to someone and he wrote it down. And I missed that thing. They were talking about one thing in particular. And the guy was talking about, either slavery or murdering your child because God told you to do it. Well, and he kept saying, how do you know that God told you to murder your child? Why can't we find that part? Where was that? That was in this video, right?
Not an isolated system. So
yeah, I like that. That's great.
And I'm not even somebody already emailed me the other day and say, no, it's not about a closed system, it's about an isolated system. So I'm trying to correct that. Whether or not I make amends or how I make amends.
Okay. I guess I would have to grapple with that some. Just don't click with me yet. That's
all right. I'll tell you this, John.
Yeah.
It doesn't click with almost anyone. Is this my ex-wife?
Huh.
They're a teenage age and they got acne or whatever else. And then there would occasionally you'd have a picture where it was obvious that they were just sobbing. Did not want to be taking that picture, but it was over and it was like click, click, click. Directly derived from the premises. Inductive reasoning is, so there's deductive, inductive, and abductive. And abductive is arguing towards the best explanation. And for that you would need candidate explanations. But inductive reasoning is what science does. It begins with observations and then begins to describe the best model that is consistent with those information. You generally think there's something hypocritical, that it should be easy to make that case and not just go, well, would you vote for this? Well, would you vote for that? Well, would you vote for that? Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about realistic scenarios and try to prepare ourselves for things that can actually happen. Let's talk to Dimitri in California.
The point of, well, okay, when I say you're hypocritical, it goes for not just for Matt and Jenna.
Thanks,
this goes
Jeffrey.
for the atheist community in general. And by
That can't be true then, because the atheist
Thank you, Jeffrey.
community in general doesn't agree on everything. But stop with the preamble and get to the accusation.
well, there's no preamble, man. I've already like made.
All of this is preamble. Please tell me what we're hypocritical about.
Okay, just for example, the fact that you
Nope.
the one
Nope.
side or the one.
Nope, sorry. I'm done with you.
Of a civil conversation.
Sure.
Hypocrisy. I'll start this way. This goes for both Jenna and Matt. Would you vote for a politician who is?
Man, where is this part?
Manifest in reality. Because if you are claiming to detect a God that is undetectable, you are definitionally irrational. And if you are claiming to detect a God that is detectable, then you should be presenting those detections to us and not simply asserting that it's obvious or that you're convinced that a God created DNA. This is how we go about demonstrating the truth of propositions. You provide evidence for your belief that the reason there's something rather than nothing is that God did it. And until you do that, I am by definition absolutely right and reasonable to say that my answer is still I don't know, because you haven't met your burden of proof.
God commands
But
you.
but you said the atheist worldview is not true. How can that be?
If God commands you to kill your child, something like that.
We've looked into this. We have spent a lot of time on this. Matt spent a lot more time on this than I have.
Damn it.
No. Well,
If I'm trying to correct you so that we can make progress on a definition, and all you're going to do is talk over me, I don't see any reason to keep going. I'm asking a simple question. Does your God manifest, interact with reality in any detectable way?
We saw this part too. I mean, I caught every single one of these. I know it's in here somewhere, man.
So I'm glad that came up. But yes, you can email us. That's one point of contact. We can't promise to answer everything.
Huh.
Everybody else's business. But if you email in for help, then all of a sudden I can answer, Jenna can answer, Jim can answer.
Oh, this is
basically discussing whether or not a being known as God exists. Now, if you want, I can give you a very specific description of
That'd be great.
God, and then we can. So I believe that God is a being that exists outside of time, space, and matter.
Right. Whatever, dude. That guy was crazy.
Be in dread as you begin to recognize that the right answer to more questions is I don't know. And so if you apply skepticism and you're like, I don't know what the answer to this is, I don't know what the answer to this is, I don't know what the answer to that can be anxiety. I have a foundation ascribed as well-being. It is subjective about whether or not we care about well-being. But if you and I agree that we do care about well-being, then we can then make objective assessments. And we can then say that the Holocaust was objectively wrong when we use our subjectively agreed upon foundation of what...
Right. God, it may have been before this, man.
Independent of their personal beliefs.
Okay.
So do you agree with that? Do you agree that it's always going to be bad?
So, no. As I've said before, you're asking for a subjective opinion and trying to paint it as if it's objective fact. It is an expression. It is a common colloquialism that has been ingrained into our society that people do this.
Right.
There's a reason why people curse and why they curse in particular ways. It is about the society that you grew up in and what you were indoctrinated.
God, they answered a whole bunch of calls.
Oh.
Sweet.
He says the words Matt uses prove God's existence. Example.
Goddamn. Proves
Why you won't answer it?
Okay. You don't know what you're talking about, okay?
Okay, well, you know what? Bye, bro. Bye. All right. Let's go.
By the way, for the call screeners, we can add Eddie's list to a timeout of like 3 months, because that's twice where he wants to call in and just tell us we don't understand. Well, how do we know? Yeah, go ahead. I'm going to let Jenna take this because I currently have a bet on whether or not I'm going to yell. And when somebody calls into my show to tell me that I'm wrong about morality, and one of the first things we get to is that they're okay with beating people when their God tells them to, I'm just going to let Jenna take it, and I'll just sit over here quietly.
This is the one, guys. This is it.
I know you don't understand. That's the problem. Jenna's getting ready to school you, so sit tight.
I'm pretty sure.
Well, actually, I'd like to hear you
Says
tell
like
me how you can justify.
If God tells you to do it.
Since you are not a moral realist, right? From what I understand, correct me.
Let's not talk about me. Let's talk about you.
Yeah, you're the one that just said it was okay to beat people. She's asking you why. And you said when God tells you.
I believe our guide to what's absolutely moral is someone who, by definition, is absolutely moral, which would be the Christian God.
That's not. I'm asking you how you can justify beating someone.
Well, it depends on the reason. If it's God
I'd like to know what that reason is.
Well, I just gave one. If God is...
You did give one. You said
Okay,
if
so
God commands it. So how do we know if God commands it?
Well, that's an epistemological question. If we're agreeing that...
Doesn't matter. So
it's a GM 6L50 transmission, Jeffrey.
We are asking questions to see which of our views is most consistent
Thank
with
you,
reality and
Jeffrey.
reason. If you say it's okay to beat people if God says so, then the next question is, how do we tell, like if somebody beats another person, how do we know whether or not God told them to?
The answer isn't, it's okay to beat people when we perceive God said so. Or
That's exactly what you just said.
No,
it's not.
I said when God said so.
Yes, I'm asking you, and we're asking you, how do you know when God says so? How do you tell the difference between somebody who thinks God told them to beat someone and someone who God actually told to beat someone? And now I'll be quiet, sorry.
Sorry. So that's a good question, but it's unfortunately irrelevant here because you asked me to give a situation in which it would be moral, and I gave an example. I don't need to give an example of how I would distinguish it. I gave an example, right?
Okay, you gave me an example. And let's talk about that example and whether or not that's a legitimate example. Okay? How do we know objectively whether or not a God has instructed you to beat someone?
Here we go.
How can I know that?
Here we go.
How is that relevant?
This is the one, guys.
Because you're using it as an excuse
This
to beat
is
someone, and I'd like to know proof that this is actually a thing.
13 minutes in.
I said a conditional. If
I know that Jen is steering, but you're either going to answer the fucking question or we're going to move on.
13.
You don't get to just go, how's it relevant? You asserted that if God tells you to beat someone, it's okay. And we asked, how does someone tell the difference between thinking that God wants them to beat someone or allows it and God actually doing it? And you don't get to just say that's irrelevant. That is the foundation of you. You're offered up your justification, and we don't know how you could ever provide that justification. You might as well be saying it's okay to beat people when the voices in my head say so. And we say, how do we know that the voices in your head said so? And you say that's not relevant.
Look, you're not understanding, okay? The question here is simple. Here is a situation.
I asked you a question. Do you remember that question?
It's an epistemological question. It's not an
I don't care what kind of question it is. I'd like to know if you remember what the question is, and I'd like to know why you won't answer it.
Okay. You don't know what you're talking about, okay?
Okay, well, you know what? Bye, bro. Bye. All right. Let's go.
By the way, for the call screeners, we can add Eddie's list to a timeout of like 3 months because that's twice where he wants to call in and just tell us we don't understand while he's advocating for a position that he refuses to defend.
I think this is it.
I'd really like to talk to Ulrich in Mexico.
Oh,
sweet.
He says the words Matt uses prove God's existence. Example, oh my God.
Oh, cool. Oh my God, we got a caller that wants to use words.
Hi, Ulrich, how are you? What's going on?
Damn, he didn't say it then.
How can you justify what you're
So
trying
weird.
to
Why I thought he said it right after that.
Whenever somebody gets somehow stressed out or annoyed, they say like, oh my God, or Jesus Christ.
Yes.
God, that's a spiritual reality.
No.
What does that mean? It's a spiritual reality.
Yeah, because...
What does that mean?
Situation that you're... Yeah, because usually you protect yourself and you don't need to curse and to call on God.
Oh, no. I get to curse whenever I want, and I'm not... But if I say...
God damn, I don't know what the fuck happened. They made $1,083.
And she's picking who's going to be on from the first call to the last call. And so if you got questions for Jenna, you can call in 512-991-924.
I'm really sad, man. I don't know where it was. I went through that whole video and I couldn't find it, man. God damn it. He said it. I should have fucking recorded it, man, or made a note of where it was I saw him say it. But he said, you can't take the word of one person and call that evidence. He said that somewhere in this video, and then he uses the word of Paul for me to say that Jesus Christ existed. It's funny. Anyhow, check out my friend Ron Placone, ronplacone.com. Ron Placone, it's got another website. It's lucyandron.com. Also, check out Ron Placone on his YouTube channel. It's Ron Placone, and you can send him news articles, links to news articles, and he'll read those news articles on his show. And you can watch him do that live, which is pretty cool. In addition, he's on Twitter at Ron Placone. He's on Instagram at Ron Placone. He's on Facebook at Ron Placone. Because that is crazy. What's going on here? How is that even doing that? Psst, nobody does it like that anymore, Val. Romplicone. He also is a huge advocate for this fucking thing. For triage oil. And he talks about me at the beginning of every single one of his shows. We've had him on here before. You can check out the interviews that I've had with Ron Placone at naysgarden.com. Check that out too, guys. Thanks so much for watching, y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow. It is tomorrow. Wow, look at the time. It's midnight. Bye, everybody. Hope you had fun.